welcome back to the IROC Business with Confidence podcast, your go-to resource for monetizing your passions while keeping your budget in mind. I'm your host, Corey Fonville Foster, transformational speaker, certified business coach, trainer, and the CEO of IROC Marketable Business Solutions. In our final episode of the season, we have an exceptional guest joining us. Please welcome Jocelyn Chong, an internationally recognized networking specialist, four-time #1 international best-selling author, high-performance sales speaker, and coach. Jocelyn's mission is to empower women in business to master the art of intentional networking, accelerating their business results, and breaking through their glass ceiling. With over 20 years of experience leading multiple eight-figure businesses and building high-performance sales teams in the banking and financial sector, Jocelyn brings a wealth of experience to her work. She is regarded as a thought leader in the banking industry and has been featured in numerous publications, including Channel 9, Drive Global, Fox, The Times, and Financial News World. Jocelyn's unique approach infuses spirituality into business intuitively, resonating with her growing followers who appreciate her heart-centered entrepreneurship approach. When you engage Jocelyn, you gain access to over 36,000 plus hours of experience, knowledge, and wisdom in leadership and management, sales and lead generation strategies, and extensive banking and financial expertise. Her passion lies in human transformation, and she thrives on helping others create a life by design. In our final episode, we will be diving into the topic of intentional networking. Discover the strategies and mindset shifts needed to leverage intentional networking to accelerate your business growth and overcome barriers. Jocelyn will share her insights and empower you to create meaningful connections that open doors and drive success. Enjoy. All right, so it is time for another episode. I have with me here Jocelyn Chong, and today we're talking about intentional networking for high performances and sales. So, hi, Jocelyn.
Hi, how's everyone? Thank you so much, Corey, for having me in your world.
Oh, definitely. So I like these conversations to be very organic and just pretend like we're good old friends. So tell me and my listeners a little bit about who is Jocelyn and what do you do?
Well, I am born and raised in Malaysia. And at the age of 17, I left Malaysia to pursue my studies in Australia. And after that, I decided to embark on a career in banking and finance in Australia for 2 decades. Yes, I look very young. But over that is a lot of like hard work, trials and tribulation. And I reached to a point where I realized that there is something in my spirit that there is more. And so I embarked on my entrepreneurial journey. From there, I created courses, I served different types of clients and learned to know there is a specific client that I want to serve and to teach them around intentional networking and high performance sales. So why are those two combination the right combination? Is because I want to help more women in business really lift up their business game, and also the more money we make with ease, with grace, with integrity, the better the economy will be. So, my passion is to serve women in business to really elevate their ability to network effectively. So, there is a way that we can add value in the conversation, and it brings clarity, it brings the right energetics when you network with someone. And then of course, when we are the right energy, the business will come our way because we are magnetic. And so I teach that, I show that, I share my stories, I share my lessons. A lot of it will be my life lessons that I didn't do well, that I think those are lessons that are powerful, that I want to help other women know so that they can collapse time and they can also implement and try and apply what I can share today and in the next few moments as well. So I know that that's a lengthy introduction, but I hope that that gives everyone a quick overview about what I do, what I stand for, and what I believe in.
Look, I loved it because it really did give a clarity into not only the idea of networking, but intentional networking and what value that adds to you. So tell me, because I know you've been working with clients for a while, what are some of the common mistakes when it comes to networking that a lot of new entrepreneurs do?
A lot of entrepreneurs, when they go into a networking world, they actually don't know how to navigate the conversation, because walking up to a networking group, speaking to strangers is not something that we do naturally. So, a couple of thoughts that they might have, and this is the common ones I hear from my clients. I'm not good enough. I don't know if I walk up to that conversation, they'll be comfortable to accept me. So that's number one. Number two is there's a lot of doubts in their head. What do I say? What do they judge about me? All these thoughts are all this self talk. And so I help them really shift those self talk into confidence so that they can walk up, they can have conversation, they think about someone else. They come from a place of service. And those are the few, but there are also, deeper ones like limiting beliefs around, I don't know, I have got, issues around how my face will look like. Is more of a deeper level of issues in life that needs to come up and be addressed, so that when we walk into any conversation, we are fully our true essence, and we are in our position of power and authority to serve and to bring our service to the community, the group, the conversation, or the one-on-one meetings that we have. So those are the really important ones to address: limiting beliefs, the fears, anything that is indulging, right? Worry about things, and so not showing up to their full essence. And when we can address that and we can find the root cause of that, then we can work through it and deal with it, and then shift that around. Because once you shift that around, your true magic is already within you. It's not outside, it's within you. So it's accessing all the gems and the hidden treasures that's already within you.
I like that. It's like showing up authentically as yourself and not being so worried about all the other things, but just saying, this is who I am. This is what I bring to the table. This is how I want to make impact. So, for some people who are saying, okay, I get it. I need to show up authentically. I need to show up with confidence. What about those who feel like they're introverts? Like, I know the idea of networking for people who are like, I'm an introvert. I do not like dealing with other people. What tips or suggestions do you have for those types of people?
Well, my old self was an introvert, shy, and I was in a place of shame as well, because those are the three things that I had to deal with quite a lot in my life. And who I am today is the results of working through years of peeling off those layers. So, a couple things for people who are introvert is, if you find that in-person networking event is quite confronting, start with online networking. Because online networking, you are in the comfort of your own home. You're meeting a bunch of people. And usually in that kind of networking group, you have got breakout groups, maybe between 5 to 6 in a group. And it's easier to interact that way. Then you prepare three things, write notes, maybe post-it notes next to your computer or somewhere that is visible, that you can talk about what you do. So a few sentences on what you do, so that when you are asked that question, you can refer to that you are ready to share. Because a lot of times we know what we do, we have it in our head, but when it's written, it's clearer, and we are not babbling, we're not talking, and we're just not saying things that doesn't necessarily come out smoothly. So you can write some notes for yourself, use post-it notes, and then practice that. Maybe practice that in front of the mirror a few times, how you speak, and be comfortable with, being in front of the camera when you're doing networking online, because people want to see your face. Because sometimes people are not looking at the mirror, or they are not, sorry, looking at the camera, so it is quite distracting. But if you can practice looking at the camera and then you speak, it can make a bit of a difference, because there's an eye contact there. So those little things can really shift the game. And then when you go into a networking event that's offline, I highly recommend that you pull out 5 questions that you know is at your back pocket. When you walk in and when you join a conversation, you can ask questions, you can show curiosity. Now, go in with 2 feelings that you can embody. Number one is going from a place of abundance in your heart to heart conversations comes naturally. So don't be don't need to pretend to be someone that you're not. So have that conversation naturally, heart to heart. Number two is go in and just be yourself. I am there to serve. If you think about someone else and how I can help the next human being, you will forget all your fears, discomfort, maybe any other things that held you back, all those limiting beliefs, self doubt, uncertainty, not good enough. All those will move away once your head is in a place of I am here to serve. And so it will flow more naturally. And then, you know, the third thing is to build that connections. And we all have somewhat Instagram account, Facebook account, LinkedIn account. When you are in that conversation and you already warm up, build rapport, there's a connection, you want to follow through with that conversation, then you go, is that all right if I actually connect with you through Instagram? Is that all right if I connect with you through LinkedIn? Those are the two platforms that I'm active. Can I add you on now? Did I get the right full name that, like it's so quick and easy, right? We can pull out our phones and then send them an invitation. And then once you come back from the offline networking event, send them two sentences. So nice to meet you, Corey, today. I love what we talk about. I was wondering if you'll be open to a 20-minute one-on-one chat. Simple as that. Because it's the follow through in the offline networking event and online too that you will build deeper relationship, because we can attend a ton of networking events. But if we don't do the one-on-one with a handful that we think there is, deeper connections that we want to build, learn more about each other's business, learn more about how I can offer you my products or services if that serves you at the right place at the right time, then all those networking events that we go to will not go anywhere. It can be beautiful conversations, but it will not lead to any further deeper relationship. So the art is to build that muscle that you want to follow through one-on-one, and that will take you to places.
Yeah, I love that. Building that muscle with anything you do, you get better over time the more and more you do it. Now, something that I do know is you gave us lots of tips on things to do, but I've been in conversations where I'm like, why did that person ask me this question? Or like, that's a no no. So, in your opinion, what are some of the don't ask questions or don't start conversations that would kind of impede our progress when it comes to intentional networking?
Oh, great question. So think about questions that are open-ended questions. Number one, don't ask question in a way that close people up. Yes or no questions. And then number two is ask it in a way that brings out their best. Do not ask from a way that you want to interrogate someone. Like, tell me this, it's like, it's very confronting. So ask open-ended questions like, what do you enjoy doing outside of work? Where do you get your best ideas from? Or how did you think about the current trend on AI? Like very broad to really warm up that connection, that conversation. And once people know that you are coming from a place that is really genuine, you are who you are, there's no facade that you're putting in the exterior, and you're asking question in a way that you just want to prove something, the conversation will naturally flow. So don't interrogate, don't ask, close questions, and just don't force the conversation. Read the body language. So here's the quick tip on where you can read someone's energy. 7% is someone's words. So when you hear about something, it's only 7%. And then is their tonality, 38%. If you feel that the tone is not where your body is vibrating, they're not ready. Excuse me. then that's another sign. And then when you see their body language, they are close body language, right? 55% of the way we interact, right? It's our body, right? So when you notice their body is a bit closed, they are not ready, then don't actually force the conversation. Keep it warm and just keep it light. So think about that. Read that situation, read that person's energy. And if they are not ready, don't force the conversation, don't push the conversation, keep it light. And they will open up because like everyone else, people need to warm up to a group. And it can be very confronting, especially for people who are shy, people who are introverted, and they have not been out to an offline networking event in something that they have mustered up their courage to do and boldly go, what, I am going alone. Then, what, bring them in. Bring them or introduce them to a smaller group of 2 or 3 people and say, hey, what, Adeline, would you like to come and join me here? Petra, come and join me here. Elaine, I see you. Do you want to come and join my group? So lead that, because there's many opportunities in an offline networking event that you can really connect with people that way. Now, if you're in an online networking group, there's the chat. If the chat button allows you to connect with people one-on-one, certain groups does, certain groups doesn't, because it can be distracting. Then what, send them a quick note and say, hey, what, I love the vibe, and I think we are good to have a chat, maybe one-on-one, if you're open to it. And if you're not, it's totally okay. Just send an invitation. Invitations are powerful, and invitation is okay to have a yes or a no, because you give the other party the opportunity to accept or decline. And no offense if they declined, right? But it's all those techniques that you can weave into to allow you to warm that relationship up. And then once you know and feel and see and taste and you can smell, that but that person is comfortable, then you can really then go deeper in the relationship, go deeper in the conversation. But yeah, don't really ask and interrogate, because both parties will be very uncomfortable, right? So think about how you can make it sweet, make it such a sweet conversation.
I love that. And so let's think about it. So we've gotten through the conversation. We've asked the right questions. We said the right things. They're open ended. We've built the rapport. We've exchanged social media or email addresses. How important is it for us to kind of take the lead and follow up? Should we wait for someone to reach back out to us, to not be super pushy, or should we take the lead and say, "Hey, I want to talk to you. Let's get on the schedule." What are your thoughts?
So, my take is that it is always ideal to offer, again, send them the invitation. Would you like to have an open conversation? Sorry, excuse me. One on one for 20 minutes. Ask them right after, within 24 hours, because you've just met someone. And for us busy women, we will meet, I don't know, I meet a lot of people throughout the day in different meetings. And sometimes if we don't do that within 24 hours, we lose that, because the following day we have another set of meetings on our schedule. So send the invitation very quickly and see how the response comes. If that person doesn't respond within 48 hours, don't push, don't force. And maybe you see them in the next networking group, whether it's online or offline. Follow through. Sometimes people need a bit more time, because you never know what's happening behind the scenes on someone else's life. And, it could be things that are very busy on their schedule, they are not responding, they have got meetings, or they just needed to warm up a little bit more. So the art is to, keep it open, don't force, don't give up, but follow through within 24 hours. Because if you can do anything within 24 hours, it's still warm. People still remember. People can remember, all right, who I've spoken to. It's Corey, it's Balatui, it's Elaine, it's, Andrea, it's Alex, it's Felicity. So, all right, yep, I can feel that vibe. I want to take it to a whole nother level.
I love that. So I'm thinking just through my mind of all the different experiences I've had with networking and then seeing my clients in networking spaces. And sometimes it can be just so overwhelming, right? You're like, there's so many people here. I want to touch bases with everyone. I'm not sure who I should focus on. And I find that the thing that I stress to my clients and I also have to remind myself of is to kind of go into networking with a game plan. Like, what do I want to get out of this? How many people do I want to touch bases with before I need to go have a sip of wine or some coffee or something? So, what are your thoughts when it can be super overwhelming, right? What is the best way to kind of go into the networking event? Should you have a game plan of like, this is who I want to talk to, this is how many people, or even what do I want to get out of this networking opportunity?
Yes. So the art is, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? If you think about that phrase. So I'd like to invite you. This is an invitation for you to prepare yourself when you go into a networking event. Aim to meet 5 to 7 people. Say hello. Hi, my name is Jocelyn, to 5 to 7 people. In that 5 to 7 people connection, there are certain groups of people that you connect well, you have conversation, and some of them may not be people that want to have conversation with you, and unless you walk up and you say hello and you read that body language where I mentioned earlier, you never know. So yesterday I went to a networking event for International Women's Day in Australia. There were about 80 people there. I decided today I'm going to meet 12 people. I'm going to say hi to 12 people. And then out of that 12 people, I had a conversation with 7. Out of that 7 people, I had conversation, and a number of them we are going to catch up one on one. So think about, within 24 hours, I came back. The ones that I connected, the 7, I connected with them on LinkedIn immediately. I said, look, you know what? I know that we can connect. Are you on LinkedIn? Is that all right if I send you an invitation? Oh, yeah, yeah, definitely. Immediately, they pull out their phone. Either I send or they send me an invitation. And then they're like, oh my God, great conversation. Now, I chose to really read and use what I share and read. If they're willing to open up a conversation, we'll have a conversation. So some I had like 5 minutes conversation, some I had like 3 minutes. So to give an example, I met the mayor of the city. I met the CEO of that government business, and she's the CEO. And I met the founder and I had a conversation with her. I met 3 other ladies who are consultants and they teach on corporate training, human design, a number of different corporate stuff. And then I met a lady who is an executive chef, and she is working in a number of companies to set up their full catering program. And I also met a lady who is in business for 34 years. Now, that's amazing for someone who's an entrepreneur for 34 years. And then another lady who serves and only hire women, over 60 women in her business. And she's been in business for about 30 plus years. And her business is to really focus on helping more women. So she hired women only. It was really interesting. But that was just to give you an idea of, when you have a conversation, you ask them, what do you do? And the conversation will open up. Because if those who are shy, they won't. Now, the ones that I said hi, they're like a bit shy. They're still like unsure about what to say. There was 2 of them. One of them just set up their business on the 8th of February, and she is a HR talent consultant. And she goes, I don't branch out. I want to transition my business. And another one who is a nutritionist, she's also a pharmacist. And she goes, I want to have my private practice. I want to shift from, being a pharmacy to more of health and nutrition coaching. So there you go. Couple more examples that I just shared. But it's almost like taking mental notes, and if you spend about 2 minutes or so, you can quickly know about someone. And The tip is be fully engaged in the conversation, be attentive, take mental notes. And, if they ask you a question, demonstrate curiosity and is it like lead from the topic they talk about already. And then ask another extension question. Like, oh, how did you do that? Like ask another extension question. But it's just coming from a place of pure curiosity. I'm there to be curious. I'm there to learn about someone's life. I'm there to see, if there is any value. Maybe I've got ideas, then I share. If not, it's okay. Just listen to the conversation. But those are then connections that you can meet immediately, right?
Yes, I love that. And it's funny because I was listening to you speak and you were like, yeah, I met this person, and you remember their name and when their business started. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I can't remember what I ate for breakfast today. And I can imagine there are some people listening right now thinking, like, I get it. I need to have a plan and I need to, you said, what, 5 to 7 people. But what if I can't remember those people? What if? So, do you have a strategy for like what to remember, how to remember these people? Because I have definitely been in situations where I've had great conversations, we've exchanged really good information, I want to collaborate, and then I go home and I forget, because right now we're in the age of nobody has like the paper business cards. So then I forget because I'm like, oh, I've added 10 people to my Instagram that day and I don't remember who that was. So help us figure out, like, okay, we did all this great stuff you told us to. How do we remember who the people are and what they do so we know who to follow up with?
All right. Couple of tips, and it comes with practice. So I want to, share a couple of things that you can learn. So number one, for years and years, I wasn't great at remembering names, but I knew that I had to because the art of remembering someone's name is really powerful. And I work in a very diverse culture. Names can be like all sorts, especially their last name. So I taught myself for many years now as a business leader that number one, people love the sound of their names. So if I can learn to remember their names, then I can remember one thing about them that stood out for me in a conversation. And that is something that you can learn. It's a skill that you can master, right, over time. So learn their names and learn one thing about them that stood out in the conversation. Like Simone, she was in talent management and she works for Sportsbet. So it was just, I think it's mental note. And then if you train yourself the skill, you will remember one thing about them. So that's an art, right? Then if you can then have a connection on LinkedIn already, if you go and send them 2 sentences, hi, great to meet you, really enjoyed the conversation around XYZ, you put that in the message. The next round you come back, you'll remember you have that conversation around that. So it's to make that mental note. And then once you connected through LinkedIn, you say hello and then you mention one thing about the conversation that you remember. It helps. It's the more you practice about it, the easier it becomes. Now, for me, it didn't happen overnight. It took me years, right? I had gone to like 15 plus years of networking events. I had learned from a ton of my mistakes. Let me tell you, I've been to networking events. I woke up, I'm like, what was that about? I was not intentional. I was, not prepared. I was like, I would just love to be here and then sit in my corner, have this amazing 3 course meal, have a wonderful show back that I took back. I was like paying $120 for this ticket in my corner. I still can be in a networking event that way. And I've done it many times where I'm going in totally unprepared, not intentional at all, wasted the opportunity, never knew anyone. But I had a great meal, 3 course meal.
I love that. And it's something that you said that kind of stuck out to me when you said, like, already have been there, LinkedIn connection. And I think, like, I'm going back in my brain. I'm like, I think that you did that to me. We were in a group together and you reached out to me and was like, hey, we're in this group together. And I've actually done that myself for events where, especially virtual ones or ones where they give you like a Facebook group before the event, where I will go and friend request and see who people are to already have them as connections. So then when we talk, I can go and like send them a quick message. So do you recommend kind of doing a little bit of pre-research before going to the event to help you with more intentional networking?
Absolutely. So, you know what? Spend 10 minutes before any event, online or offline. If you know the group a little bit more, then you know what? Online, you can just check out the Facebook group or whichever, portal or platform they use for you to give yourself some idea, some knowledge, like what kind of people are there, because tons of networking groups sometimes they focus on different things, absolutely, like different things, different age group, different vibration they come in with. So think about, all right, maybe check out, do a 10-minute quick check, who they are, what kind of people are there, what type of background, experience, qualifications, credentials they may be part of. And then when you go in, you're far more prepared. You go in knowing, all right, how I can really integrate my questions, my conversation into it. So definitely 100%. And then if it's an offline one, previously they might have a number of networking events that they hosted already. You might be able to see, some of the graphics, the photos that have been taken, the kind of people that maybe you can spot someone in that group that you know already, right? So that's another way when you notice the offline networking event and you go, all right, the last year or so, they had 4 networking events. It was held at the golf course. It was held at the Melbourne Convention Center. It was held at this hotel. All right, I get it. Now, usually there's this group of people who are going and they focus on, women founders. And so, all right, now I know, all right, how I can navigate my conversation. So spend 10 minutes, just have a quick look. It might really surprise you. And then you might go, I'm so ever prepared now. At least I know what I'm walking into.
I love that. And you make it seem so simple, like just 10 minutes. I'm thinking like research, taking notes, all of that. But no, 10 minutes is doable. I can do that. And I'm sure the listeners can too. So I love you've given us so many amazing nuggets, tips, and strategies when it comes to intentional networking. And I know you do this every day in and out with your clients. So before we go, I just want you to kind of give us an idea of what it would look like to work with you and what kind of things do you talk to your clients and get them through when it comes to intentional networking?
Yes. Well, if you have found value in what I shared today, there are a number of areas that you can come into my world. Check out my website, number one. And, there's, a lot of information on my website you can explore to find a bit more about how we can connect deeper. And to connect deeper, there are resources that you can do. For example, there's a masterclass that you can quickly download, have a listen. I teach you a couple of tips that you can walk away. Implement is the art is, you experiment it and then you implement that. It's like I give you the recipe of the best chocolate cake, but until you bake the chocolate cake coming out from the oven, you never taste how delicious it may be. So do that. And then if you want to work with me, there's a number of ways that we can partner together. So it's one-on-one where I deep dive. You have my full attention. We go through exactly what you struggle with or what are your challenges. And we deep dive to create a solution, work through the solution. And then we set you up for success. What is the game plan in the next XYZ time frame so that you can work through it? Because it's important to work through something. I don't believe in overnight success. I don't have a magic pill. But if you are willing to, work together through a season, it's going to be powerful. There's also a group setting that we can work together with other women as well. So if you come on that, you have a community of women that you get to know, they elevate each other, we have fun, but we also learn how to be better women in business. So those few ways to connect.
Awesome. And all of her links will be in the show notes of this podcast. So definitely be sure to reach out to her if you are looking to be the best woman business owner that you can possibly be this year. And also if you want to be intentional, right? That's the key word, intentional about optimizing your networking opportunities, because I definitely have made the word collaboration be my word of the year, right? Collaboration. And one way that I collaborate is through networking opportunities. I've been able to reach tons and tons of amazing entrepreneurs, people top of their industry, just by taking a more focused stance when it comes to actually networking and connecting with others. So I want to thank our guest here for being with us today. I know even for myself, I've gained so much insight into the world of networking. And like I was taking some notes myself, and I'm sure our listeners were too. Do you have any final parting words before we sign off for today?
No, thank you so much, Corey, for having me. And, the art is, don't beat yourself up. And, whatever you took today, it's implementing them. And don't feel bad if you don't do it right. Continue to try. And that's the art, right? Keep trying, keep mastering it, and have fun. Have fun. And just bring so much abundance into your world, because when you have fun, you attract so much abundance in your world. And I hope that, you continue to expand your circle with great expanders.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for being with us today. And thank you for listening to this amazing podcast. We will be with you every single week, dropping a new video where we bring in an expert to talk to you about how to make this year the best year yet for your business. We'll see you next episode.